Welcome back. After the break in our Expert Speak segment, I am joined by G.L.N. Sharma, former CEO of Hannover India. With him, we will understand the world of reinsurance. He will decode reinsurance sector for us, how it is strengthening insurers, protecting policyholders, the evolution of India's reinsurance market in last 15 years, and reform needed to make India a global reinsurance hub. Thank you so much, Mr. Sharma, for joining Insurance Mantra Show.
Thanks, Sandra.
So, help us understand how in last decade or 15 years, reinsurance market has evolved.
So, reinsurance has been very popular in that context worldwide. As far as India is concerned, there was only one player for many years. However, in 2015, due to the changes in the Insurance Act amendment, the foreign reinsurers are allowed to operate as branches in India. While these players were operating as a cross-border reinsurers so far, once the legislation allowed these companies to operate as a branch, I think that is like a milestone, I would say, within the Indian reinsurance sector, that quite a number of reinsurance players started with a physical presence in India. And they have been contributing to the development of the insurance sector and the reinsurance sector and contributing to the growth of the sector.
So, but how FRB is different from a reinsurance company? What are the main two differences between both of them?
Yeah, it's a good question. So, worldwide, the major reinsurers typically operate under the framework of a branch in each country. Of course, there are also other formats like being a fully subsidiary company of the primary global company in respective countries. There are certain advantages of being a branch operating in each of the country compared to the subsidiary. The main advantage with being a branch is that operationally it is quite simpler, easier to manage from the global office respective branches. Under the economic capital framework or risk-based capital framework from the different countries that they are coming in, there are advantages with a capital framework if they operate as a branch compared to the company. And a company, the main disadvantage is that there would be a lot of governance and the associated compliance-related matters compared to a branch. That's why typically you would find many of the countries, including India, branches being the major operational aspects of the reinsurers.
But now, sir, we have seen that private reinsurance companies are also starting their operation. Recently, 2 companies have started.
That's really a good trend because while global players have been operating as a branch in India for their operational easiness, the other private sector, so it's actually good that other than the global players are also showing interest in starting operations by opening their own companies within India. And that would actually facilitate in the way that overall sector within the insurance sector, the reinsurance sector, growing further.
Okay. And so in reinsurance space, there are specialized reinsurers also, like in insurance side, we see standalone health insurance company, life insurance company, company doing only motor insurance. So are there specialized reinsurers or FRBs?
So within the reinsurance, there are few reinsurers specializing in a mono lines or specific lines into that. For example, there are only life-only reinsurance branches here because their parent is only a life reinsurer. Okay. There are those who are operating on all the lines of business because their parent themselves they are called composite reinsurers. Okay. And there are only into general insurance space. because their parent is also only general insurance. There are also specialists, but I have not seen really specialists in Indian market as such. But out of all the reinsurers that are available, there is very unique entity called Lloyd's of UK, Lloyd's syndicate. That operational aspects of Lloyd's completely different, though they do the reinsurance business, but the framework under which they operate under the Lloyd's is quite different from the rest of the players. But yes, you have life only, you have general only, you have composite, and the specialist reinsurers like Lloyd's.
And what is this reinsurance treaty, and which kind of treaties are there in reinsurance market?
So typically the forms of, the way the reinsurance is operated, there are primarily there is a treaty reinsurance, there is a facultative reinsurance. In treaty reinsurance, at the beginning of the year for which the cover is being sought, the reinsurer and the insurance company, based on the plans for the next year, they agree on the framework of what all the risks that they would like to place under the treaty at the beginning of the year. So thereafter, any business that comes under those terms, those all gets placed within that treaty. Under the facultative, it can happen any time during the year. So particular risk, typically these are all very large risks that get discussed. These risks, on a case-to-case basis, the insurance company requests the reinsurer what are the terms under which this particular risk can be placed. And once that it gets agreed, it can happen any time during the year. Once that gets happened, the risk gets placed. Primarily, these are the two kind of reinsurance structures that you would find in general.
What kind of suggestions you would like to give to regulators or policymakers to strengthen India's reinsurance sector? And do you see a lot of potential there still after the opening up in year 2015? Still there is a long way to go?
Yes, I certainly think reinsurance sector in India is expected to grow a healthy growth in that sense. While the government of India has done, I would say, excellent job in the way first. The first step is allowing the foreign reinsurance branches being under the IRDA framework. After some time, now GIFT City also got formed under the IFSCA framework. There are also offices coming in and doing reinsurance business under the IFSC framework. Now, while that is a very good step from a government point of view, there are a lot need to be done to compete with the similar markets or similar centers like, say, Dubai, London, or Singapore kind of markets. While there has been licensing relaxations, there has been tax concessions, there have also been very simpler processes that being allowed so far by both the regulators. Always there is something new that can be done to make ourselves more competitive with other centers. Primarily, in my view, these are all like alternative source of capital, for example, for catastrophe bonds, and another format called insurance-linked securities, and other forms of reinsurance which is called financial reinsurance. This financial reinsurance is very specific to life reinsurance space. In addition to the traditionally whatever being followed, I think we have to put effort and bring the other forms of reinsurance that are not really
challenges, because you are giving the suggestion. So, what are the present challenges also?
Yes, the present challenges, this requires very specialist people. You need very qualified actuarial people. You need very strong underwriting skill sets that are available. You need very good catastrophe modeling skills that is typically required to measure your, catastrophe and other pandemic related. We are there. I don't say we are completely there. We are in the journey of, developing this talent. It takes for some more time to get because now the GIFT City operations only started just a few months back. I think many reinsurers opening their offices. I'm sure it will take in the near future that these guys would, these players would be in a position to make it competitive within the other centers of the reinsurance.
So my final question to you, sir, what would be your message to our viewers with respect to the reinsurer? A few viewers might be students also who want to come into reinsurance space, or they are exploring opportunities in reinsurance space.
Yeah, that's really good because I enjoy being a reinsurer. I've worked in reinsurance sector. Out of my 30 plus years of experience, half of the term I was in the reinsurance space. It's a really good, if you are very good, analytically good, and you would like to understand how, not just Indian market, if you want to get an international exposure in the space and the financial services particularly, I think reinsurance is a very good space where you have the mobility to move across the international globe, and also build a very good career, be it an actuarial, be an underwriter, or be it a data specialist, or even any finance professional.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time and insight. It was a pleasure talking to you. That's a wrap on this edition of Insurance Mantra, but we'll leave you with our insurance basic. Did you know that reinsurance is called insurance for insurance companies? When an insurance company takes a very large risk, it transfers part of that risk to a reinsurance company. This helps insurers pay large claims after disasters like floods, earthquake, or cyclones, protect their financial strength, offer higher insurance coverage to customers, grow their businesses with greater confidence. So simply put, you buy insurance from an insurer, and insurer buy insurance from a reinsurer. That's the power of reinsurance, the invisible safety net behind every insurance policy. Stay informed, stay protected. That's our insurance mantra.